Hey there, knife fans. This is Pocket Knife Collector, and I have another unboxing video for you today. This time from KnifeCenter. I'm going to go ahead and open this up using, let's see, let's use a Spyderco Kapara 3 with a Maximet blade. Okay. Tape in a lot of different places here. Not exactly sure which direction this box opens. I think this way. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so this is an exclusive Spyderco model made for KnifeCenter. This is the Kapara with burlap micarta handle scales and S90V blade steel, made in Taiwan. So the Kapara is a model that been available for a while, not as a sprint run or exclusive. And ordinarily the production model of the Kapara looks like, let's see, I have one here somewhere. Where is it? There it is. Looks like this. Pretty fancy. Contoured carbon fiber handle scales, titanium hardware, red G10 backspacer, full flat grind blade of S30V, right? So let's compare the original Kapara with this exclusive version from KnifeCenter. Dimensions should be identical, but the materials are different. Right, we've still got titanium hardware, still got a red G10 backspacer. This knife is named after a type of spider found in South Africa, which has a red marking on it, which is why there's the little red backspacer, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so most obvious difference just visually is the burlap micarta, which, KnifeCenter does burlap micarta exclusives. From time to time, they've had some Spydercos, they've had some other brand knives that have burlap micarta handles. So it's sort of a KnifeCenter thing. It definitely gives a different vibe than the carbon fiber. Feels pretty good. It's very smooth. It doesn't feel like a rough texture. And then this has got S90V instead of S30V from Crucible. And both of these are made in Taichung, Taiwan, which is where some of the nicest Spyderco knives are manufactured these days. Spyderco knives, there are a lot of them that are made in the United States. They also have production facilities or partnerships with manufacturers in Taiwan, Italy, Japan, mainland China, and then you got some oddball things, like there was one axe that was made in North Carolina, Spyderco, and a couple of oddball things that were made in Switzerland. But mostly you're going to see US, Taiwan, Japan, China, Italy. All right, this being an exclusive, it comes with a little explanatory note. So it tells you what a exclusive is in the beginning there, that this is only available from one retailer, which in this case is KnifeCenter. This stunning limited edition Kapara showcases a satin finished blade crafted from crucible CPM S90V and advanced powder metallurgy stainless steel enriched with vanadium. CPM S90V's high vanadium content favors the formation of hard vanadium carbides instead of chromium carbides, increasing the steel's wear resistance and edge holding properties while leaving additional free chromium. Sorry, I keep skipping a line here. It's kind of awkward to hold this way down here for the camera and try and read it at the same time. Free chromium available to enhance corrosion resistance. So additional edge retention and additional corrosion resistance as compared to S30V. Maybe slightly less tough. It depends on the heat treatment, but probably a little bit less tough than S30V, but better in those other two categories. The plain edge blade of this knife is full flat ground for exceptional edge geometry and features a fully accessible trademark round hole for swift ambidextrous one-handed opening. The other defining feature of this remarkable knife is its handle, which features scales crafted from brown burlap micarta. The 3D machined scales are beautifully contoured to provide a secure, comfortable grip. They also contrast the knife's red G10 backspacer, which is a signature element of the Alistair Phillips Redback custom knife on which the Kapara is based. All of the features of this knife are consistent with the standard model, including full skeletonized stainless steel liners, Spyderco's high-strength compression lock mechanism, and a reversible deep pocket wire pocket clip. Deep pocket wire pocket clip. I would say deep carry wire pocket clip, but deep pockets. Maybe you have deep pockets to buy this knife. It's not cheap. A remarkable expression of one of Spyderco's most refined designs, the exclusive Kapara is sure to please both discriminating end users and collectors alike. All right, so yeah, I bought this as soon as they announced it, pretty much. I really like the Kapara design. And S30V is fine, but S90V is, most people would consider it a step up. As I said, it's probably better in edge retention and corrosion resistance, maybe slightly less tough than S30V. Maybe a tiny bit harder to sharpen than S30V, but not a really difficult thing to sharpen. So I was excited to see a new version of the Kapara. And then, right after I bought this, Spyderco started their sale that they do like once a year, maybe twice a year, where they relax their map pricing. So, and they still had, KnifeCenter still had some of these, so they were like $50 cheaper or something like that. So if I'd waited a week, I would have saved some money. I suppose I could try to return them and repurchase them or something like that, but it's kind of obnoxious, so I'm not going to do that. I bought two of them. And last time I looked, they were still available. By the time I post this video, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to be able to get them anymore. And certainly if you're watching this video a ways in the future, they're not going to be around, because I don't know how many of these they made, but these exclusive runs do sell out eventually, and then we don't see them again. All right, so if you're not familiar with the Kapara, I will show you some other knives to give you some points of comparison. So here's that pair 3 we used to open the box. Okay, and a PM2, Paramilitary 2. This one also an S90V. That was another exclusive. So it's closer to the PM2. It's actually got more linear edge than the PM2, just a bit. Does still have a finger choil, but it doesn't have the aggressive jimping that the PM2 has in the finger choil. It has a more gradual drop point instead of the, like, I guess you'd call that a clip point on a paramilitary. You know, it's very sharp, consistent fall on that edge. Flat ground and a little thinner, I believe. Yeah, a little bit thinner with Kapara than the PM2 blade stock. And of course, contoured handles instead of flat handles. And a wire pocket clip that carries a little bit deeper than the standard pocket clip on a PM2. Of course, you can replace the pocket clips. And there are deep carry pocket clips available for the PM2. But yeah, it's a very capable EDC knife. Should slice very well. And you know, anybody who's looking at a PM2 maybe ought to consider Kapara. Now it is going to be made in Taiwan, which, you know, some people might prefer to have a made in USA knife like the PM2, which is made in Golden, Colorado. But to be honest with you, the quality of the manufacturing out of Spyderco's Taichung, Taiwan facility is a very, very high. You're not going to be disappointed with the quality of this knife. If it's important to you that it says made in the USA on it, and that you know, it was indeed made in the USA, maybe that's a reason to go with PM2 over the Kapara. If that's not you know, a defining criterion for you, maybe give it a look. Let's give you some other size comparisons here. As I said, pretty comparable to the PM2. Let's give you some other points of comparison. Here is a Benchmade Osborne 940. That's also an S90V. Okay. And 945. That's an S30V. A little more reach than a 940. Significantly more reach than the 945. This is the premium version of the 940 with the carbon fiber and the S90V. The more common version of the Osborne that a lot of people are familiar with has an S30V blade and aluminum handle scales, but it's the same size. Further size comparisons. If you're not familiar with the Kapara, I want to make sure you have a pretty good sense of what we're looking at here. Here's a Demco 80 20.5. Kapara has more reach, also has a higher grind. It's a full flat grind instead of just a high flat grind. Longer blade. This, of course, has a different locking mechanism. ProTech Malibu. Similar blade length. Kapara has a higher grind and a little more real estate on the handle. And of course, it's Spyderco's compression lock as opposed to the button lock on the ProTech. There's a smock. The carbon fiber, if you're getting the carbon fiber version of the Kapara, the carbon fiber is much nicer on the Kapara than on the smock, because the smock is laminated. It's a thin layer of carbon fiber over G10, whereas the Kapara is solid carbon fiber. Even though these are both out of Taichung, Taiwan, and they both have S30V blades, the Kapara is a more premium knife than the smock. Than this version of the smock, at least. There are some exclusives of the smock with different materials. Let's see, other comparisons, size comparisons. We'll do the good old Rat 1. And Rat 2. Yeah, so as you can see, it's a substantial blade. It's really, it's comparable to the blade on that Rat 1, which also has a full flat grind. Of course, the blade steel, either version of the Kapara is going to have better blade steel than the Rat 1. This Rat 1 is in AUS 8. They do make it in a couple of other steels, but none of them are going to be comparable. None that I've seen so far are going to be comparable to that S90V. And it's going to be lighter, noticeably lighter than the Rat 1. And the compression lock is more secure than just a regular liner lock, which is what we have on the Rat 1. In pocket, pretty similar in terms of how much room that's going to take up in your pocket. Here's a griptilian. Also ballpark similar in terms of pocket profile. This griptilian has a 20 CV blade. More commonly, you're going to find those with S30V blades. Kind of similar in terms of, you know, handle length and blade length and edge. You know, it's both of these have contoured handles. This is contoured G10. The standard griptilian is a FRN handle that, you know, has, I mean, it's called the griptilian because they're promoting the ergonomic handle on it, the grip. Yeah, both of these are, you know, contoured. So the Kapara is going to be slicier, right? Full flat grind versus the saber height grind on the griptilian. We could do comparisons all day. I don't know how many more comparisons y'all want to see. Here's a bug out. And mini bug out. Okay. Going to take up a little more pocket real estate than the bug out, and it's going to be a little bit heavier. That's the bug out's main selling point, is that it is very lightweight and, you know, not a lot to carry, while still offering a pretty usable blade. Bug out has a high flat grind. Kapara has a full flat grind. Probably not going to notice a lot of difference in terms of cutting performance on those, except the edge retention is going to be better on the S90V than on a regular S30V bug out. There are bug outs with other steels that are available sometimes. What else? Let's show you the Hogue Deca. Okay. A lot of folks are familiar with this model. Got the drop point and the Wharncliffe versions of the Deca there, both of those with Ultem handles. Magna cut steel. Whether you prefer MagnaCut or S90V is going to be kind of a personal choice. MagnaCut is going to offer more toughness than S90V, and more corrosion resistance, although S90V is pretty corrosion resistant. You shouldn't have problems with rust with either MagnaCut or S90V, but technically S90V is more corrosion resistant. Sorry, MagnaCut is more corrosion resistant than S90V. And got a bit more reach with the Kapara than the Deca. A little more linear edge, and again, a full flat grind as opposed to a high flat grind on the Deca. This has got a compound grind on the Warncliffe version. Deca's, I'm sure, a little bit lighter. I don't have the scale out right now, I'm sorry. I'm sure the Deca is a little bit lighter, and it's a little bit smaller. That's probably sufficient comparisons. I'm pleased with this. I wish I had waited a few days and bought it when it was on sale, but oh well. What do you think? This might be the sweet spot, right? This might be the sort of ideal everyday carry knife for me. Very slicey, plenty of blade, plenty of reach, comfortable, strong lock, good steel. I suspect that I will probably be putting one of these to a lot of use. In fact, I've already gotten a bit of use out of that one, and saving one to keep it in pristine shape. All right, well, I hope you liked the video. Go ahead and click like if you did. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see a bunch more knives. Thanks. Bye.